So a kitten dropped a bug in my ear to look up the car repossession numbers. So I started looking things up, and this coupled up with the mass firings, the threats of firings, the tariffs, and all of the other things going on in the United States, this tells me that we certainly need to buckle up and get ready for some harsh times ahead. And all of this just all goes together. All right, so this says car repossessions hit levels unseen since 2008 financial crisis. If people lose their cars, if people get evicted, where are they going to be staying? It's about to get very rough out there. All right, it says automotive repossessions reportedly jumped last year to highest levels in 15 years. Around 1.73 million cars were seized by lenders in 2024. Bloomberg News reported Wednesday, March 26. I didn't see the article when it dropped a couple of weeks ago. That was a 16% increase from 2023 and up 43% from 2 years earlier. The last time car repossessions were at this level was in 2009, when the country was dealing with the fallout from the previous year's financial crisis, the report added. As Bloomberg notes, these numbers are another sign that Americans are having trouble staying on top of their monthly bills due to steep interest rates and higher car prices. And we already know that car prices are getting even higher because of these tariffs. So it is about to get even tighter for people's household budgets. The report says that car repossession numbers plunged during the pandemic due to relief efforts for borrowers. But when those measures ended and inflation jumped, borrowers began struggling to repay auto loans, leading to an uptick in repossessions. The number of subprime borrowers who were at least 60 days late on their loans climbed to 6.56% in January, the most on record, Bloomberg added, citing Fitch ratings. Meanwhile, purchasing a car has become more costly, with Cox data showing that the average vehicle loan rate rose by 5 basis points to 10.16% in February, with the highest in 4 months, with the average monthly car payment coming to $748. The news comes 2 months after the U.S. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau warned about a surge in repossessions following the pandemic. There is also recent data suggesting that access to credit could be tightening, according to the latest edition of the Survey of Consumer Expectations Credit Access Survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So car repossession rates show that people are having a hard time staying on top of bills. So I was like, let me look up eviction rates as well. And when you just type in eviction rates, it starts to show you all kinds of things. We got Tacoma. Here's a Yahoo article. It says high eviction rates, homelessness among topics at city's annual fair. I think this is in Texas. This one at towards the bottom, high eviction rates, homelessness among topics. Oh yeah, that's the same one. Hampton Roads City has some of the highest eviction rates in the country. Greenville, I think this is South Carolina, talking about evictions. Las Vegas, they're talking about eviction is climbing to the highest rate they've seen since the pandemic. They're talking about it in Seattle. You can Google if your city or state is having an eviction problem currently. And the eviction situation is probably going to be all across the country. We have talked so much about all of these mass firings, the threats of firings, and now the tariffs that are pushing prices all the way up. Eventually, there's going to get to a point where there's just not enough money. So people are going to have to decide, are they going to pay the rent? Are they going to pay for their car note? Are they going to pay for medications? And so that takes me to my next topic. Most of our medications are imported. So factor in the fact that we have Trump's tariffs and Trump's trade war with all of the other stuff that we have been talking about. We are in a cluster F of major proportions. So this is just a quick AI overview that I got off Google. I'm going to pair it up with an article that is recent. It says a significant portion of medications used in the United States are imported. In fact, a recent study found that 75% of essential medicines are imported. 75%. much of this reliance on China and India, according to Fox Business. This is particularly true for generic drugs, which are a large part of the United States drug supply. So, on top of the fact that Trump erased the medical savings benefit that the Biden administration put on to raise the prices of drugs, and now he still left the tariffs on medications there. He erased the tariffs for technology and toys. Let's get rid of the tariffs on that. But we're going to keep the tariffs on essential medicines. This is going to say to me that your drug prices are about to rise up if you can even get them. So yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of people trying to decide where are they going to ration, which medicines. Are you going to take the pain medicines, or you just going to do it in half and take the rest of the pain? I don't know what people are about to do. India and China are major sources for these imports, with India producing roughly half of the generic drugs imported by the United States and China supplying 80% of the active pharmaceutical ingredients. Generic drug reliance. Generic drugs, which are a large part of the U.S. drug market, are heavily reliant on imports. And like I said, I was going to pair all that up with this article. So this is from the BBC. Trump threatens to end pharmaceutical tariff exemptions. And here he is talking, and I honestly cannot understand this makeup choice. These are choices. He wakes up and makes these choices to make his face look like he is like he's trying to camouflage to be outside in the mud. Like, why is he so orange? This is crazy. Okay, let's get to the article. I'm sorry. So this article was from April 9th. It says, Trump says he will soon announce major tariffs on imported pharmaceuticals, a move that could end decades of low-cost global trade in medicines. For years, most countries, including the United States, have imposed few or no tariffs on finished drugs, thanks in part to a 1995 World Trade Organization agreement aimed at keeping medicines affordable. This shift comes after Trump introduced a blanket 10% tariff on other imports last week as part of a broader effort to bring manufacturing back to the United States. His new reciprocal tariffs include a duty of 104% on goods arriving from China, and now it's up to 245% or 145%. I'm not sure which categories get what percentage, but it's still ridiculously high. All right, it says 104% on goods arriving from China came into force on Wednesday, intensifying a global trade war and further shaking markets. Pharmaceutical buyers so far spared from such measures are now preparing for what may come next. The United States has typically imported vast quantities of finished medicines from India, Europe, and China without paying tariffs, although active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs, used to make drugs do face some duties. Speaking at a fundraiser dinner for his Republican Party on Tuesday, Trump said, "We're going to be announcing very shortly a major tariff on pharmaceuticals, and when they hear that, they will leave China." I bet you the Republicans just started clapping, knowing that their party is made up of significantly older people. So why are they clapping for this stuff? Why are they not pushing back? Are they perfectly fine with this man culling their party, like really wiping people off of the earth? I don't know. I think they are, or they're not paying attention. I don't know what's going on. He also told reporters on board his Air Force One plane last week that pharma tariffs would arrive at a level you haven't seen before, saying these would be announced in the near future. In 2024, the United States imported $213 billion with a B worth of medicines, more than 2.5 times the total a decade earlier. While short on detail, his comments have rattled buyers, especially those relying on Indian imports. India supplies nearly half of the United States generics, or cheaper versions of popular drugs, saving the country billions in healthcare costs. And this triggered a thought, and I'm sure that there's someone in the medical community or healthcare in my network. Where do medical supplies come from? Are they steel? Are they aluminum? What kind of materials are they made of? Are they getting a tariff? Are we going to get hit with tariffs as people try to import things for supplies for hospitals and nursing homes? What else? What else are we going to be facing as far as increased prices, and how is this going to impact the elderly community? All right, y'all, go ahead and weigh in on all of this. You see how my brain is just trying to put all of this together. We're going to see a lot of excess deaths this year, and I'm sure that the numbers are going to bear that out. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and share.